Hi, this is Frank Shamrock, MMA legend, UFC superstar, and you're listening to MMA Crip Fighting Talk.
Gregory Stone, MMAcrip.com. You are watching the MMA Crip Fighting Talk show. On today's show, I'll be speaking with MMA legend and former pro wrestler Ken Shamrock. With that, welcome to the show, Ken.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always exciting to be able to get on and speak to the fans. That's what I look forward to.
It's our pleasure, Ken. Now, Ken, War Machine was recently arrested and on the run for allegedly viciously beating ex-partner Christy Mack at her home, along with her boyfriend, or the other boyfriend, Ken, depending on which stories you read. There's a few of them out there. But we did a show, Ken, about a couple of days ago. It was all about the arrest of War Machine. Now, on that show, I said I was not surprised to read that War Machine was on the run and being arrested for attacking Christy Mack. I even went as far as to say it's something I even expected, just off his general behaviour. He seems like he's always angry with the general public. Now, you know John Copenhagen more than most, Ken. He was under your wing at the Lions Den a long time ago. Now, was you surprised to read, see or hear War Machine was arrested for this type of crime?
Oh, well, I think what was really a little bit more surprising to me was the fact is that he hadn't gotten arrested sooner than this. He'd had a pretty bad track record. I had actually taken him in under my wing, as I think most people realize. The Lions Den was more a place for people to come train, but I always took people that were had troubles in their lives and were looking for a second chance, and those are the kinds of people that I really gravitate to because of my background. So John was one of those kids where he kind of got himself in some bad situations and he needed a second chance. And so we gave him that second chance. I even paid for his rent. He stayed in the apartment with him for a little bit. And it was a sad thing because after I'd done all these things for him and really work with them, my daughter that was 17 years old at the time, I think John was 24, had taken her over to Mexico. I didn't realize that they were even dating, so I didn't even know. And I found out later on that he had taken her over there, and he was going to leave her over there, and he was beating on her. And this was my 17-year-old daughter, and I didn't even know it.
Wow, he was beating on her.
No, so I had always known that he had a temper, and I'd always been trying to work with him on it. Like, dude, you can't do that stuff. You know, you got to let go. Whatever the issues are, you need to stop. And then when he did that to me, I was so angry. I was even looking for him for a while, and some of my friends kept saying, well, every time you come around, he basically heads out of town. He says he's been hiding. So after a year and a half or 2 years, it kind of settled down, and I just let it go. So it really doesn't surprise me that this happened. The biggest surprise to me is the fact that it hadn't happened sooner. Or maybe it has, and no one just hasn't reported it.
Well, he's been arrested a couple of times for assaults. I think he even slapped Christy Mack in the past. That's why I said I wasn't surprised. Obviously, it gets worse and worse. They went out in public. They seem very aggressive with each other. You know, a lot of couples, you know, they hold hands, they cuddle, they kiss. These two were like sort of shoving each other around, very violent, aggressive. Yeah, so they're like out always in public. They seem very aggressive with each other, not like a normal couple. So I wasn't surprised. Now, did you say a minute ago that he had assaulted your daughter a long time ago, Ken?
Yeah, he actually he grabbed her around her throat, and I guess I didn't know this though, or otherwise, you know, we would have handled it a little bit differently. But see, these things I didn't find out till later on afterwards. So when like I said, my daughter was 17, still in high school, and John was 24, 25 years old. You know, that just wouldn't have happened. But because he did it behind my back, and it wasn't just him. My daughter was also part of the problem also. So, but you know, me taking care of him and helping him through and doing all the things I was doing with him, I just expected more from him to at least respect my house and respect me. And he didn't do that. And that just goes to show you, if you got a person that doesn't have any respect for people around him who are trying to help him, imagine what he does to people he doesn't care about.
Well, you mentioned that you gravitate towards people, you know, they've had troubled backgrounds. We all know about his father, who gave him CPR. Now, Do you think there was any help in War Machine? Because is it going to take himself to help himself? Does it take somebody positive? Because obviously, he seems a little unstable. He seems like he's had a tough life. You need positive things in your life. Well, me personally, that's what I think you need. You need positive things. Now, bringing a porn star to be cool. Obviously, he's fresh out of prison. He was heading into Bellator. They promoted the fuck out of his jail stint. Like cameras in there and coming out of jail. And then he hooks up with this porn star. It's all cool and glamorous. But the guy's got feelings. And he's already emotionally unstable. And, hooking up with a porn star. And then obviously she's already lied. She's got a new boyfriend. Apparently she was cheating on him. This isn't what the guy needs. So he's going to explode at some point. So do you really think that there's any saving War Machine? Or there was any saving War Machine? Obviously he changed his name to War Machine, for God's sake, from John Copenhagen. That says enough. So... I know you're a positive person, Ken. You always try and look on the bright side, but can everyone be saved, and possibly could War Machine be saved?
Oh, absolutely. If you look, the reason why I was working with John and trying to give him that second chance at life was because he does have that likable personality. He is a good person underneath all the scars and the hurt that he has inside of him that's obviously happened to him when he was growing up. So there is a good person there. There is, and I've seen it. He has a really good person inside there, and I just would love to be able to see that person come out, because if we can, then you're going to see a person that really deserves to have a second chance. But problem is he willing to work for it? Is he willing to put aside his own selfishness and his own wants to get that help? And that's the key. Can he do that?
Yeah, he's very intelligent. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast about 2 months ago. Damn, I was listening to him for about 2 hours long. Very intelligent. You read about his dad, his dad was an ex-cop, etc. So he basically had his life set out for him from his father's side. Obviously, his mother's side, his stepdad stole his money, etc. I'm not sure if you know about all that. You probably do. He probably told you the stories. But how close was you to all? Was he coming over for family dinners? Did he stay over at your house? You said that you paid for his rent, etc. at a flat.
Yeah, like I said, we were close, and I really liked him, and that's why I said there is a good person there. There really is, and I think once people get to know that person, they'll agree with me that there is a good person there. It's just, how do we get that person to stay out there and have that person be the dominant character in his life?
Now, War Machine was arrested without much struggle. He was found in a motel with a box of pizza or something. There was reports at first that he was assaulting a woman, but I think there was lies. General media for you there. But are you sort of surprised that there was no struggle with War Machine? Because obviously there's situations like this where, somebody knows that he's possibly going away for a long time. His relationship's just finished. I was expecting the worst, to be honest with you. He was posting on his Twitter, he was saying, if anybody comes and gets me, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill myself, and then I'm going to film it. So I was sort of like surprised when he just basically handed himself over to the cops without much of a struggle. I'm assuming that's the way it's went down. There was no reports to the contrary, but are you sort of surprised that he went without no struggle?
Well, I'm not, because like I said, I think John at times wants help, and he wants to change. He doesn't want to be this guy, and so there's some rationality that he has going on, and usually if he'll sit there and rationalize it, like you said, he's a smart guy. He'll rationalize it and realize that there's, by fighting and doing all the things that he may or he may have not said about, killing this guy or telling that guy to come to get him, after sitting and thinking about it a while, he smart guy, he's going to realize that's just not going to do any good for anybody. He's just going to make things worse for him. So I think if he had time to really think about it, he's going to do the right thing, and he did do the right thing.
Now, speaking of mentoring fighters, Ken, newly signed UFC strawweight, Paige VanZant, she recently revealed that she trained under you at the Lions Den also. How nice is it to see a former student take such positive steps? Obviously, we've had the bad news with War Machine, but obviously this must be nice for you to see Paige VanZant get a UFC contract, Ken.
Absolutely. Especially when you get people who have crossed paths, and you really want to see them succeed, and just because of the landscape and things that you're going through, you don't get to walk them all the way up to that championship or that contract. And so sometimes you have to sit back and let somebody else take over and get it there. But it's nice to be able to see that they've found and be able to capture and have an opportunity of fulfilling their dreams. To me, that's, boy, I tell you, there's nothing better than to see that on one of your students, ex-students' face, to realize that, wow, you know what, they have reached that goal and have gotten to that point where they're going to be able to fulfill their dream.
Well, she said that she only got into mixed martial arts basically to deal with the bullies. There was an incident at a school with a bunch of girls. Obviously, there's a lot of fighters who want to get into mixed martial arts for self-defense, but did you ever think when she first came into the gym, did you ever think that she'd be in the UFC? Obviously, women wasn't around at that time. Well, there was, but there was in small quantities. Obviously, there was Elite XC and Strikeforce, etc. But there was never on the large scale of the UFC. So did you ever expect to see her in the UFC one day?
Well, I didn't, because when she came in, her mother brought her in, and these girls were always picking on her, and she was a very beautiful girl, very kind of like, didn't speak out very much. You could tell she was timid, and a lot of it probably had to do with the other girls being jealous of how pretty she was, and she wasn't really outspoken. So sometimes little kids can be cruel, especially when there's jealousy comes in, and that's what was happening. She was kind of the outsider, and there was a few girls that were kind of teamed up against her, and they basically picked on her, and her mom brought her in for self-defense, and I said, well, if you're coming in here for that, he says, that's something that I don't teach. I don't teach people to come in there and beat up other people, but I can teach her how to get more confident in herself, and that if it had to come down to where she had to defend herself, then that we can teach. And so when we first got on the mat, she was like very timid and very, very, it was like she was so afraid of everything. And I think it probably took us about a month and a half to 2 months, and you started seeing a change in her where I started teaching her how to turn that passiveness and that afraid and being afraid and all that into turning into an aggression and being able to make that come out through her training. And so about 2 months into it, she was hitting and she was kicking, she was grappling, she was wrestling really, really aggressively, where you could see some of that anger was coming out. And once we did that, we started teaching her how to control that anger so that it didn't come out at the wrong time. And I know that she ran into a couple of situations in school after she had been with us for a little while. These same girls kind of picked on her, and she put them in their place pretty quickly. So not something that I wanted to teach, but, there are times when things like that are necessary, and I believed that she took that very seriously, and she never did anything that was embarrassing to our school, and she was always a stand-up person, and she was very likable. And after probably about 6 to 8 months of working with her, that I realized that she had potential. She really could do something in the sport.
Well, let's move on to Heroes Festival 2014. You went there in Canada, along with Vanderlei Silva, Rashad Evans, and I noticed you hooked up with a couple of old pro wrestling pals. There was Big Papa Pump there, Kevin Nash and Buff Bagwell. Obviously, there was WCW guys, you was WWF. But it's sort of a strange mix. I didn't see any other sports people there. It just seemed like MMA and pro wrestlers. Could you tell us a little bit what Heroes Festival was about, please, Ken?
No, it was about getting people together, some of the fans in Canada, and then bringing in some of the wrestlers and some of the MMA guys. Because when you look at the more the comic heroes, the Spider-Mans, Supermans, and even the bad ones like with the Terminator, and you've got all these different characters, good or bad. If you look at the MMA and you look at the pro wrestling, that's what we are. We're good and bad comic heroes. And we get to go in the ring and we get to compete against one another, and we have our different characters, and we're either heroes or we're not. We're bad guys. And the fans get to choose that. And so it was a great opportunity really to bring together two different organizations, two different styles of competing, of competitiveness, and be able to bring the fans in and be able to have some barbecue, bringing different vendors to like different coffees and things of that nature, to be able to sit around and eat with the fans and enjoy and have a great time. Even put on a wrestling match a couple of days, so it was fun. It was good to sit there and just mingle with the fans and look at all the different characters and stuff they had in the store. They even had an alligator, and it was pretty cool, and a monkey. Boy, I tell you, if you didn't go there, man, you missed out, because it was a good time.
You mentioned there's a wrestling match. Was it a pro wrestling match or a real wrestling match?
Yeah, it was pro wrestling. A couple guys went there, and because there was a lot of kids there, 5 and 10-year-old kids, and and even when I watched it, it was entertaining. I loved watching that stuff. So it was fun. Like I said, it was a really good time. I enjoyed hanging out with the fans, and that's what I do now, really. My whole thing now is to connect with the fans that have supported me over the years, and now I have an opportunity to really pay back to these fans and be able to go out and meet them and shake hands with them and get to know all the ones that supported me. That's what I'm doing right now. I've got my Facebook, my Twitter, my website. My website is going to be coming out really soon right now. We're getting ready to launch it. We're not saying. I know it's going to be within the next week it's coming. But, man, I tell you, we got some cool things on there, dude. You got to check it out, real professional. We even got an Easter egg on there where it's a hidden thing on there where if you find it, then you get to go into this secret page where it has a lot of cool, unique stuff on my website. If you want to check that out, it's at KenShamrock.com. There's a flash page that comes up. You fill out your information on that flash page, and we're going to send you a VIP invite as soon as that comes out, which will be in the next couple of days, so don't be late. You want to fill that out, man. We're going to give you a personal invite from me to come check out that website when it comes online.
Is there anything else you can tell the fans what they can expect from your new website, Ken? Obviously, you had the old one.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going to be on the website is, well, listen, we got a lot of information on there now that really talks about my career and the things, the ups and downs, and we're going to have a page on there where I'll be able to write to my fans an article at least once a week, maybe every day, depending on how that first page comes up. We start writing and the interest we get on that. I'll be able to connect with them every week, being able to write a page on there and just talk to people, different things I have going on during the week. We also have a page on there where I have believe it or not, and this is something that's interesting to me, and I hope other people get involved with it too, is that I'm getting into the trade market, where I do trading and investing, putting capital to use, either buying or selling securities for, purpose of gaining profit, stuff like that. That's going to be on my page too, where you'll be able to get in there and join with me and be able to look at the market and figure out if this is something you really want to do. And then if you do, man, you jump on there and we'll do it together. But that's going to be on me. You have an opportunity to be able to get on there and do some trading and investing with me on this page with me. Also, too, we have a ProFit 101 that is on there. And then, of course, the drink that we were supposed to have on it, which is the Shamrock Slam. We're not sure where that's going. We thought that was going to take off. We're still working on an investment where we think that someone's going to buy the drink, and then we're going to actually make that possibly go public. But that's not something we really know for certain yet, but that is also on that page. So there's quite a bit of things on there that we can actually talk on there. And that's what I'm doing now, really, is just really trying to find ways to be able to still be able to go out there and stay in touch with the fans. And this Ken Shamrock website is going to really be doing that. And again, like I said, until you go on there and you see what this page can do, and also, too, we've got a spot on there, too, where people can actually reach out to me if they want me to come and do some motivational speaking, which we have a page on there where it has my different speaking engagements and my different appearances that I've gone to that you can actually check out on that site and actually listen to some of these seminars that I've done. And then also book me on there if you have something you want me to do, whether it's speaking in front of kids or in front of a church or just basically business motivational speaking. These are all things that I also do, which you can contact me on this website and be able to book me at some different events that you have going on, just like this Comic Fest thing that we did. That's the same kind of stuff on the website that people will be able to have a direct contact to me. Lately, it's been people been trying to find out how to get a hold of me. Well, now you're going to have a line that plugs right into me. So check out the website. I'm telling you, dude, when people look at this, they're going to go, wow, this is a really nice website. So I'm looking forward to people getting on there and checking it out, man.
Well, obviously, Ken, you're going to have two different type of fans come into the website. You're going to have pro wrestling fans, you're going to have MMA fans. Will the website be open to both fans?
Absolutely. It's not just pro wrestling fans, and it's not just MMA fans. It's fans, even like with football or baseball. I talk about all of it, man. There's nothing that I don't see or I don't watch, man. I'm a people person. I love just talking with fans and people. Just like with the stock market and getting into investments and the trading, anybody wants to get in there and talk about that. I do that also. It's giving information on analyzing the broad markets. So there's you can talk about the S&P, the climate in there. The Dow Jones, talk about the Dow Jones, different things like that. The Nasdaq, the Russell 2000. That's just a bunch of small companies that they get in there and trade. So, there's you can talk about the market structure. There's the industry, there's a sector, there's subsector, industry groups, individual securities. And this is all stuff that I'm learning to do. So there's really, man, right now, dude, my website is such a broad area of things that we could talk about, and it's like getting involved with equities. I can teach people how to use the stocks, the options, the futures, currency, exchange trade funds, ETFs, stuff like that. So these are all things that I am learning right now, man, and really starting to really pick it up fast. And I've been doing it for about a year now. Got a good friend of mine who's been doing it all his life. And so we've offered that page on the website for people to come in and actually if they want to learn how to make money on their investments. So listen, I tell you that that website is very broad. So check it out, man. I think people get on there. It's not just going to be the sports fan. It's going to be people that are interested in business, whether it's with the stock or whether it's just with motivational speaking.
Well, when the website's up, Ken, let JT let me know, and I'll create an article on the MMA Crit website and let the fans know about it. One last question before I let you go, Ken. Buff the stuff bad well. He was at the Heroes Festival. Now, we know about his new job as a gigolo. What do you make of his new job, Ken?
Hey, whatever makes you float, whatever. Listen, I like him. He's a good man. I met him. I got to talk with him a little bit. I like the guy. I think he's a good person. It's not something that I would do, and it's not something that I would look at other people doing. I would definitely tell other people it's probably not a good decision. You need to get an education and do some things that it's going to be more of a way of investing in your life and having things that you can look at the end of it that you can be proud of and stuff. So I like him, and if this is what he's chosen to do, it would not change my feelings if I like him or I don't like him. He's a good man. I like him. Whatever he chooses to do, that's on him and God. I love the guy, and I'm going to stay friends with him.
Ken, I could keep you on here forever. I could literally ask you about another 10 questions off that, pro wrestlers' characters, a little bit like real life characters. But I'll let you go, Ken. Thank you very much for your time today.
Dude, thanks for the opportunity, guys. I appreciate speaking with you, and you guys have a blessed day.
To our listeners, be sure to check out Ken Shamrock's new website. From the MMA Crits Fighting Talk Show, thank you for watching.